make a motion on this. I had gone through these Friday and made copies.
Krista. Second by Jenny. Take a quick look. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side, motion carried. Okay, we have 3 claim sheets here. Take a peek at those. Go down through those and fire any questions off.
$425, the NS Consulting, is that the airport money?
Yep, it was an advance
Okay.
app.
The, oh yeah, the Bolig one too.
Yep, that's why they all go hit together because they're all in the
Okay.
advance payment stuff.
Okay. I'll make a motion on this.
Motion by Kristen. Pay the claims.
I'll second it.
Second by Markel.
On 425, the Northwest Community Action.
Yep, so that's the fix-up deed grant. So
Yeah.
they come as advance payments from the state of Minnesota.
Okay.
And then I write the check to who they go to. So sometimes it's an electrician, sometimes it's Northwest, because they'll pay the contractor for certain
Okay.
types of repairs. Just depends on, so that's what that's for. From John Wynn.
Good. All those. Oh, thank you. All right. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Just a quick, you guys are with,
Ottertail.
what's
Yep,
that?
Ottertail.
Auditor, okay, perfect.
Can I get your names?
Jake Ellison, K-A-K-E-E-L-L-E-F-S-O-N. Carl Hunt, C-A-R-L-H-U-N-D.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Well, guess what? You guys are up next.
How would you best, how would you like me to address the council, Mayor?
Oh, you whatever you want to. Go ahead. That's fine.
Standing, seated?
No, it don't matter to us. We're pretty informal here.
Oh, may I?
Till you make a mistake, then we let you know.
I'll project my voice so everybody can hear.
Chair.
And my apologies for being disruptive to the prior meeting. That wasn't our goal.
Oh,
We
that's
were
all.
at 6 o'clock, so. But nonetheless, I'm sorry, I guess. I'm Jake Ellison. I'm an area manager by title. And what I have is accountability for transmission distribution operations within Minnesota for Ottertail Power Company on the north end. I also have Carl Hunt with me, is the operations manager for everything centered out of Karlstad, Minnesota, which includes the city of Karlstad. What we have in front of you is the renewal of a franchise agreement that traditionally happens every 20 years, which very simply allows Ottertail Power Company to construct, maintain, and operate our assets within city thoroughfare. So public right of way, if we want to do it that way. We are an investor-owned utility, so we are regulated by the Public Utilities Commission in Minnesota, and this is very standard language review and approved by them. I think some of the keys within this document, above and beyond that, is the city maintains rights over our assets if they become an obstruction or whatever it may be. All that liability shifted back to the utility to include an indemnification clause. So basically it removes the city from any liability for Ottertail Power Company to operate our system within the city. So if legal case was brought against the city because of our negligence, we would address that and take care of it. If we take a look at material changes from the past, really what we're focused on is one statute, something that's pre-existed forever in Minnesota state statute, but the commission wanted included in this document is the right of a city to enact a franchise fee. So effectively, it's a pass-through or use tax that the city could enact on members within our service area, and to be quite frank, it could be applied to other utilities as either a percent of bill or a dollar amount per meter, however you would like to pursue that. Otter Tail Power Company would collect that and then return that money back to the city. If we take a look at use throughout our system, in 3 states, it's not widespread, but for various reasons, some communities are actually pursuing that. We see a variety of reasons, from payment street lighting systems to funding pools to distribution back into the general fund. Once again, that's not an Otter Tail Power Company decision. That would be something that the city decides upon. Beyond that, Otter Tail Power Company is an investor-owned utility. We pay taxes on all of our assets that remain within the city. And if we take a look at differentiators, because we ultimately are a regulated monopoly with a defined service area, generally come down to price and reliability. So from the standpoint of price, we are some of the lowest cost energy in the nation. And we are posturing a position to continue to do so. And within kind of the reliability front, looking at metrics, looks like reliability metrics continue to remain strong. So those are kind of the comments, I guess, that I'd like to open with. And once again, ultimately, to ask for the council today is the renewal of the electric franchise between the city and Otter Tail Power Company for an additional 20 years.
We don't really have much of a choice to say no to.
We better start selling candles if we do.
Okay.
So, no,
Are
it's.
you required to tell us about the franchise fee? Or is it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is an addition, like I said, from your last renewal 20 years ago. And the state wanted us to specifically call that out as a right. I don't know what the motivation is, but it's just from the standpoint of pure compliance that we do. So.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
there was an
That's
email
what it
that
is.
went out, this was kind of shocked all the clerks in our county. Everybody reached out to each other and was like, what is this? Do you do it? Do you do it? And nobody else in the county does it,
There's very,
just so you know.
And then we get passed on to the people.
Yeah.
And that would get passed on to people, and I think there's enough fees.
it's not Otter Tail advocating for it, to be quite frank. If you want to take a look at it from a business sense, it actually artificially looks like our rates are higher to consumers. So we don't prefer it either, but nonetheless, it's just a matter of the city can do this, the city can do this at any time, and quite frankly, with any utility that operates within your municipal waters.
I'll make a motion to renew it.
Motion by Kristen, is there a second? Second by Rob. Any additional comments? It's been, was it a couple, 2-3 years ago, you did the big addition here north of town, updated the substation? Is that you guys that did that? I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't know, Carl's a little bit new, and I didn't look at our capital improvement.
It was quite a project.
We have quite a bit, and that may be a missing talking point is, as we take a look at investment in our system right now, bulk of it is on our transmission system. There's some need within this low pocket, there's no concern. But as we kind of get through that general cycle, we start to see more investment on our distribution systems. Is the ultimate plan.
It's been good and reliable and, like you said, reasonable, so.
Where's most of it sourced?
In this location, we have an integrated system with Minnesota Power generally up within this load pocket. This load pocket generally is benefiting from wind in North Dakota. Electron flow generally is the Dakotas down through Minneapolis and back into Chicago. So that's where the flow is, and that's why we're seeing investment in large transmission projects, kind of in that Fargo bubble all the way down to Sioux Falls. It's to offload the production out of the Dakotas with wind.
All right. Hearing none else, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you very much, Council.
See you in 20 years.
So, after this
I hope
is
we're not here.
signed, after this is signed, can I email it to the lady that sent it to me originally? Okay, yep. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
let's jump to number 5, fire department, fire relief. Here I am again.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome.
I think this is about the third time I've met you in my tenure on the fire department. Third or fourth, I can't remember. It's that time, they just provided us some new data from 2023 saying what our investment for our Fire Relief Association, which is the money that we get in from the state is based on, back to the taxes. It's about it's called your 2% money from your homeowners, your property, your insurance, homeowners insurance. 2% of that total value, which is based on the property value a little bit, right? So we're back to that again. But what it does is it just gives us an idea of what we have, what our base is for our retirement fund that comes in from that money throughout the state. Every fire district then collects from within their fire district that 2% money that then provides money through a state check every fall that we get to the fire department. It's based on your 2% of your total sales of all homeowners insurance in your fire district. So that comes back to us to provide for the retirement for the volunteer fire departments across the state. So this year, and the data that we're going on is 2023, because that's as far ahead as they go, because 2024 is being processed now, so they're always a couple years behind. But I bring this to show you that we've been pretty responsible, and for our whole retirement, we are 117% funded as of 2023. Now, we only had one retirement this year, so the 2024 number should be more because we should have, that year I'd be retired 3. So there's less money to base on us. We're always keeping about 120% funded, meaning if everybody who was eligible retired at one time, it would be paid off. That's how the retirement works. So we've been responsible, and we're ahead by about 20%, roughly, of, if, like I said, all the people that are eligible to retire, if they did at once, which doesn't happen. Most of them, they say we should run it like 90% to keep that money kind of working for you. But as we know, some of that stuff doesn't always work out when you let a bunch of firemen try to invest their money, so we've been pretty conservative. So by doing that, we've maintained a fairly decent pot of money. So the last time I was here, when I started, you were there, I think you were at 150? Sticks in my head. So from 2000, early 2000s, we've gone from 150 to 750 per year, per each person's eligible money that's taken out of that or calculated.
What's the max years? 20?
You can go as long as you want.
Oh, okay. There's no limit on years. Okay.
Well, aside from physical health.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but you're fully vested after 20.
Okay, there we go.
So then you can collect on that.
Okay.
So that's what that.
What's the minimum? Is there a minimum?
10. After 10 years, you would then. So if you quit, moved out of town, and you're vested, you have 10 years. You would then collect 63% of that total. So if it's 750, you're going to get 63% of 750.
But if you move on before the 10,
It's gone. You don't collect it. You got to be 10 years to vest.
At least 10 years vested.
10 years is vested. Yep. 20 years and
20
age
years
50.
full.
Yep. And age 50. Because there's people that have been who've made their 10 years and then moved away for a job that we call it. They're just deferred. So they'll be sitting there at the level, not the new level, at the level that they retired. So we've got some that have been there 10 years and they're going to get 63% of. That time it's 500.
as soon as you're old enough.
As soon as they turn 50, yeah. They just sit there waiting until they turn 50.
Okay.
Yeah. And some people join earlier, so they retired, 45. They've been on there since they were 25. Depending on when you start. But yeah, that's how our retirement system works. And every year we bring it down to Thief River. They audit it because it's government money, it's state money. And then at the end of the day, what we want is, because we're so fiscally responsible, there's a line that says municipal contributions. And every year we want that to be 0. And it always has been 0. That means you don't have to pay in because we're taking care of the numbers. So my cohort sent me, I thought they'd be here, but apparently I'm the one that remembered. So they said, we're asking to go from 7, we're at 750 right now, and we're asking to we kind of took an average around the region and around our smaller towns, and about $1,000 is where most people are. Some are 2,500, some are 900, but we would like to ask your permission to go from 750 to the even $1,000 with the money that we have. That's what I'm here for, to up our retirement. With all the money that we have here that's available.
And does that change the percentage?
No. 10 to 10 years.
No, the 117, or usage.
That would,
Because we're giving out more money.
It'll take that to it.
yeah, it would, but that's, you look at the retirements that are coming up there. Usually it's one,
Yep.
when you get 1 a year usually, something. Yeah. And then there's also a policy that we enacted with that there are some people that do not earn their service credits because they maybe not have made the 6 meetings or this X amount of hours. So the money that they're technically is available to them is not being collected because they haven't made their, we had to make a rule that said, you're not here, you're not doing your job. And
So does that money just sit in your pool
It
of
just
money,
keeps-
whether they are attending or
Yep.
not?
they
Okay.
just
It's
keep building.
invested.
It's invested. That money's
Okay.
there. So, but they don't get to, they can maybe
They're
get
just the
1
ones
year and
not
then,
receiving it.
so instead of saying, you've got 17 years, you maybe only collect 4,
Yep.
14.
So what
There's
is
3
it?
of those years. Sometimes kids have, you have kids, and
Yep.
you can't make them, or something like that. You're
So you don't
available for
actually,
fires.
you don't need, you're not asking for money from us, you're just asking
Nope.
for permission to say, hey, we want
To say that
more.
we're just gonna make our level
Right.
based on the money that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, there's zero city money. I would like to talk about housing taxes though.
That would be great.
Well.
I was
Wanna
just
talk
gonna
about
make a
my swamp
motion.
land?
Yeah, you're right, so
You get to
anyway,
do that.
so that's why I was sent here, and like I said, I think this is I hope this is the last time I ever do it again, but that's why I'm here.
And when's the last time there was an increase? I'm sorry, did you say that?
I did not, well, it's been 5.
I think you just said when he started, it was at like 150
150,
or
and I've come
something, but-
different times throughout my career here as a fireman that I always get the luck of doing
You're
this, so.
such a good speaker.
Is that, well, maybe, I don't know.
Must be it.
Yeah, so since then, I think this is my 4th time, like 150, 250, 5, 750 an hour. And I can, would you, anybody like some data from around the region? You like
I
data?
think we're good.
I'll just make a
Oh,
motion
I think we
that.
got a motion from Kristen to go from 750 to 1,000.
1,000.
I second it.
Second by Martell. Any additional questions?
What's your title at the fire department?
Grunt. No, I have
Do you mean
been,
like, are you clerk, treasurer?
no, I was
or
past
anything like that?
past treasurer and
Okay.
multiple, it depends if you happen to go to the meeting, you might get
You're
elected,
just the
whatever.
guy that's here today?
I'm the guy that's
I'm
representing
gonna
the
write
Relief
that in the
Association.
papers. The
Yes.
guy that was here
Jeremy
today
Solon
from
representing
the
Karlstad
fire
Relief
department.
Association.
You have to be there 10 years or they don't get it.
No,
Yep.
But I
like
mean,
if
as far
it's
as-
invested.
You said that's invested, is that like a stable fund, so that
We have
chances
some
of losing?
CDs, we have a savings account, and we've had some fundraisers and different things, but
Okay.
basically, we're just very, because I know that there are places that have invested, and all of a sudden, a lot of it's
Well, and
gone.
that was my question,
Oh.
you know, with the markets the way
We
they
don't have
are,
a
it
lot
would
of
hate
money.
for you to lose all that money.
We've ne- we've
Okay.
And
never-
you're
Smart,
smart
so-
fundraisers.
Well, if you look at some of these things, there are, if they have a people on there that are savvy, I'm not, and
It was just a
you can lose
question
just
in
as
my-
much as quick as, we're only dealing with a couple hundred and 200 and some $1,000 of crack, so we're not, most of it just sits there for us to
Okay.
write checks for. And every year the state gives anywhere from 17 to 20, what is it?
1,000, yeah.
Yeah, that's just what we get, so that's what we're building our money. So if we don't retire anybody for 3 years, all of a sudden there's 2 or possibly 3 retirements in that money we're collecting. Just kind of keeping that pool going. So that's where our main money is.
I guess what I was gonna say, I mean, since back in the 80s, when I kind of became involved, you know, the principle always was that we stayed at least 110% vested in it. You know, not
Our
at
money.
90.
Yep,
We were always ahead of the game. We could, at any point in time, pay everybody off
Yep.
and still have money.
yep, and that's kind of, like I said, and it'll go between that, and then we've, sometimes, depending on the number of years between retirements, we've been up to 140% funded.
But at that point, you need to be up in the
That's the thing.
payoff.
And that's kind of why every so many years we come back and try to, most of them are right around $1,000 to be equal around the region.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
All right, I'm gonna call all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
I'm gonna grab you that sheet.
Oh, yes, from him. And I'll have you sign one too. I got one for yours. I can come in tomorrow. Well, no, I'll get it right now. She's got one to sign.
Gene? Will we look, city lot?
Me? Yeah. Well, reading the North Star News last month after your meeting, and I just have a couple of questions and a couple of thoughts. Now, the way I understand it, Troy and Todd have had those lots for 5 years with no improvements on them, is that correct? Okay. So has anybody else come in asking about those lots in the 5 years?
No, because they've been tied up with
Not
them.
that we're aware of.
But, yeah, I realize they've been tied up, but has anybody, I would venture to say 99.9% of the people in town don't know that.
I don't
So
know that a lot
if
of
somebody
them
has
get
an
lots for
interest
sale.
in the lots, they would have come in and said,
Right.
you know, are they available? And he would have said no. Correct?
Right.
Okay, and so my thought was, can't you work it out to give them an extension for a couple of years? And if somebody comes in and wants those lots, give them to somebody else if he doesn't make any improvements?
And we have done that.
We have
Yeah, I
done
think
that.
he
You
said-
have done it?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have. Yeah, we did.
He did have
And
one
he
of them.
didn't have a timeline for us. That was the biggest snafu, is we said, okay, if we give you another year, will you be completed or almost completed? And he said he had other, because
His
he's,
business comes first.
yeah,
not
his
the
business
housing.
comes first.
Yep.
And so, since we have so few lots available, we just feel like if him and Todd wanted to do it, then they needed to
Right.
proceed.
Totally.
And otherwise, let's give somebody else the opportunity.
Understand that.
And so that was the whole thing.
Okay, if nobody comes in the next
If he comes in
6 months or,
And if he comes in and does the same thing and wants to buy it again, he will have 1 year to do what he chooses to do. It's not like we
okay,
just,
so he's not out of the picture entirely then?
Nobody
no,
is.
Okay,
nobody's
okay.
out of the picture. It's just
Okay.
you have 1 year to do something. And he's had 5 years and hasn't,
Right,
and he couldn't give us a timeline when he could.
yeah.
And so if he came in and said, I wanna buy it and this is what I'm gonna do and I have a plan and it's gonna be completed or nearly completed in a year, by all means.
Okay, well,
But it was very clear neither of them
And
had
if-
much of a
that was the
plan.
question I had.
Yeah.
because of-
If I understand correctly, at the time when they originally purchased them, they signed a contract that they would be done within
1
the
year.
next year.
Minnesota statute says
Yeah.
within 1 year.
And that was
And
our big
that's
thing, we
kind
just
of, they
wanted
did
to
sign a
follow the
contract
rules.
that would happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're
But-
basically gonna have to give them back. And at some point in time, where, I don't know, you guys would have to decide how many months, you know, if nobody else has come in and showed up with a list that they want lots, then they would be able to repurchase.
We have
As
to-
long as they
right.
as long as they did what
Well-
it said, they have 1 year.
They'd have to sign the
They
same
can purchase
contract
it
they
for
signed
1 more
5 years
year.
ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They can reply, and they don't have to wait, there's not a waiting period either, right? They can reply whenever they want.
We have to get the
The
plan
only
back.
Planning zone,
specification
yeah. Planning
is we want them to follow the one, we give them 5 years, but it says 1 year.
Right.
And so whoever were to buy it, they have 1
1
year to show
Okay, yeah,
progress.
I understand that. I just thought, the way I kinda got, the way it was written in his letter to the editor, I thought he was out of the picture from now on.
Oh, he
So
may
if that isn't-
personally
Okay,
feel
that's,
that way,
that's
but
good.
not by us.
That
Okay,
wasn't-
that's good.
No.
Then my other thought is, and this has been brought up to the council, I know, probably a year or two ago, and that's, what's the thought of annexation of the Karlstad property north of town?
So they want us to annex it?
Pardon me?
Do they want us to annex it?
Is that the
Well,
dog?
you could start proceedings even if they don't. And my thought was, if we could get them into the city limits, get a little tax money, that would maybe give them some incentive to plot it and sell lots. And it would be lots for Troy or whoever else wants to, you know.
I got a little bit of, I mean, it's been a while since I talked to the two brothers that are in charge of that. We had originally asked what would they want per acre?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
And
know.
and again, they came back with what Dollar General paid per acre, that's what they were at. Well, as far as, that wasn't even, in negotiating standpoint, it was over. I mean, if you can't even start, or, down here, we'd never get to any middle ground, it just, that's what their feeling was. And it's been a while, Gene, I'll tell you, it's been many years since we've talked to them, but I have no idea where they're at.
And my thought is, not for the city to buy it, per se, but if they will agree to an annexation,
Yeah, they
then
wouldn't
you
do
could
that.
probably buy it.
They wouldn't.
But that's what happened in Hallock. That whole south end was that way. And that was started with flood houses. I don't know if anybody's aware of that, but it was.
There was a lot of federal money that bought the property, and then they
Federal money
annexed it
paid
in.
for everything,
Yes,
all the utilities,
everything.
yeah.
It was a good,
But that, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think it was probably FEMA money, because those houses were moved in from the floodplain.
Yep.
You
And
know?
Lancaster got something similar on their corner of town, they did the same thing there. They were able to, because of the proximity of the flood.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we didn't.
But maybe this is something that should be looked at again. I mean,
Yeah, their original numbers were,
we're crazy, I
Unrealistic.
heard that. But I sat at those seats from 1979 to 1997 on the council. And looking for economic development, and, we did a lot of things in those 18 years. But if we could get some more property for more people to put houses on or whatever, we'd be a lot better off. Now with the school district, the tax money they get, if there's any development, they're talking about the state, about cutting all the fund, or a lot of the funding for public and private schools. And the county just spent $5 million on the courthouse.
They rolled that through?
You're going
They
to.
started, they already
They
did.
haven't, I mean, they've started the process. Then the 30 days are up for,
For the 5 million?
it's
whole total
5.2, but it's 7 million is what we're gonna
Yeah,
pay.
right, that's what
Yep.
you're gonna pay.
Yep, yep.
So the more tax dollars we could get here, the less everybody's taxes are gonna be, especially the school district. So, that's what I wanted to say. And I think that Troy should be commended for what he's done for the town, for the property values that he's put on the tax rolls here. And I know there's personality conflicts, but we all have those with everybody, so. Gotta work around them and do what's best for the community and the school district. That's all I got, thank you.
Thank you. Summer rec.
Yeah, he's not here, so.
Oh, is there any information you wanted to?
No, he was supposed to get it to me by noon if he couldn't be here, and I didn't see anything, so.
So
He'll have to be on the next meeting.
Well, but we're ready.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane.
Have a good evening.
When does summer rec start though? That's before the
Right.
next meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, he won't be able to purchase anything then.
Right.
Until
Just have
after
to
it
wait.
starts.
He'll be the director again?
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
That was the main,
yes, yeah.
We've got
No-
somebody.
Yep, him
Good.
and
All
no wage change or anything
Because,
requested.
but didn't he say he
just-
wanted to hire and, I could look back at my text. Hold on.
He did say Ada's gonna work for sure, Logan is not, but he's asked a couple different people, and he didn't get back to me for sure if someone had agreed to do it yet or not.
Okay, cause I think I need to hire one helper. Is what he told me. Oh, so we always have 2 people anyways, so that, if Logan's not, then we're good. I read it as he wanted to have like an
No,
additional.
nothing new,
Okay, got it.
nothing added, the only thing he needs to come up with is like he wants permission to buy.
Like equipment or something.
Yes,
And I think he bought quite a bit
but
last
I
year.
mean, it's always within his budget anyway, so
Then
So we're
there's
good.
not,
keep it,
yeah.
as far as if it's in the budget and it's
Right.
needed, he should just
Just do it.
keep the program moving.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
we will, but I mean, he just likes to come and
okay,
tell everyone what his
well,
thoughts
good,
are.
that's good, but I don't want him to wait.
And like last year, the batting cage was a big deal,
Yes,
like that's a
yes.
big purchase, so, but there's nothing new that I'm aware of
All right.
this year.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
We need to have helmets if they're playing T-ball.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one thing. All right, park bathroom, all right, Northwest Electric.
So when we have the curb painters do the curb painting this summer, we have 13 kids so far. We're gonna have them do the park bathrooms inside,
Okay.
just white, wash them, paint them white. And then next year, the plan is to have the art class, do like,
I was just looking at my text with her too, yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna add that to their duties and paint the well houses. So Jason finally got back to me a couple weeks ago. From last fall, we had asked, you know, a lot of people have been saying we need to do better with the bathrooms and update them, and so,
Just make sure they pressure wash them before they paint.
yes.
So with
But
this
it'll start
5,000,
with this, yeah.
If we did this, is this out of an account, like an account that we
It'd
have,
be
or is it
the-
out of Park and Rec? Park and Rec is completely separate.
No, it's not. It's the, no, it would not be the park board's
'Cause that's
money.
their
It's
money,
just
right?
the city budget, yeah.
Okay. So then do we have,
Yeah, I should have grabbed my, I can't
well, you
remember
can,
what's-
you can.
Yeah.
let me know where I get- Well, unless they want to.